right. Hi, Christian. Thanks so much for being with us here today. Um, Mabigat ang pag-uusapan natin.
Oh, hi. Thank you for inviting me, Siege. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. So, for the people who don't know, Christian and I were classmates before when we both worked at ABS-CBN and we took workshops together. So, since then, Christian has really spread his wings, and Facts First has become, a very useful resource and a great platform for conversations that we need in today's society. I know you're worried about disinformation and fake news. And we tend to think of it as journalists as this big, diba, this big problem. And it is. But apart from it being this broad thing, fake news and disinformation is also affecting how our families relate to each other. What are your observations about this phenomenon?
Well, yung problem of disinformation actually cuts across every fabric of society. Family, school, government, church. Kumbaga, everyone can be a victim. Anyone can be susceptible to what they call fake news. Although as journalists, no, we avoid using the term fake news kasi it might go against the interest of journalism. Kasi nga, technically, when you say news, it has been vetted or verified. Pero anyway, yun ang buzzword kasi, no? No thanks to Donald Trump. Anyway, for example, in the case of the family, mas mahirap pag pinag-usapan yung issue ng disinformation because you're dealing with close relations. Eh. What if your parents, your mom or your dad, your brother, your sister actually believes in disinformation? So it's a really difficult situation. And we saw this during the run up to the 2022 campaign or even after the 2026 campaign. Di ba? We all had our some titas or titos who would somehow confront us, let's say during a reunion, during a Christmas dinner, saying, oh, bakit yun ang mga pinopost mo sa Facebook, mali yan, di ba? Pero pag inisip mo, sila yung mali, ikaw yung tama. Pero how do you deal with that? So, basically, that's one example of how difficult this problem has become in the case of the family setting.
Tsaka, because of social media din, nakikita mo rin kung ano yung pinopost ng mga kamag-anak mo. And I don't know about you, but I've certainly had moments where I've had to reach out to family members like, uy, yung shinare mo, um, hindi po yan totoo, hindi po niya talaga sinabi yung nasa quote card po na yan. And napakahirap ipaliwanag to a relative who isn't in the industry na parang, kahit naman po kasi sino pwede mag-layout ng ganyan. Kahit po may logo, hindi po yan ibig sabihin na totoo. It's so hard. Have you had experiences like that as well?
Sa akin actually, I think worse Because before the 2022 elections, I was doing a lot of episodes in sa program ko sa Facts First about, of course, the campaign, about certain candidates. And then, actually, this was before the 2022 elections. I had a cousin. I saw a post of hers, basically, I think, sharing or resharing a video commentary of a pseudo commentator on YouTube, I think, actually bashing me. Na sinasabi, yan, parang hinehekel ako rin sa buong thread, tsaka dun sa video, sa mga comment section. And then, shinare siya ng cousin ko. Tapos, I think meron pang like. Sabi ko, di ba ito muna nagtanong sana sa akin, no? Parang, that cousin should have asked me first about that. Tsaka obviously, pag tiningnan mo, alam mo namang mali yung mga sinasabi. Pero, I realized later on na when you talk about highly partisan opinions, yung mga ganyan, they don't really bother whether the content that they consume is true or not, no? Parang basta naniwala sila doon. And it doesn't matter whether he or she is related to you. In that case, that was a cousin. So sabi ko, I was really disappointed dun sa ano. Parang tuwan-tuwa siya na binabash ako and then shinare pa niya. So that's really bad.
And I mean, the emotions involved there, 'di ba? Para ang hirap na hindi mapikon, whether it's in your case or in the case of so many Filipinos na aminin natin may pagka passive aggressive din ng social media eh, na in my family, there were cases during the last elections where magkabilang sides, people were sharing stuff, and then relatives were using the haha button to react to each other, basically saying, haha, di ka nag-iisip, ganon. How do you even open up conversations in a way where people will listen?
That's really a very very difficult situation. No? In the previous forums, may mga nagtanong din sa akin ng ganyan. No? How do you speak with a relative, a mom or a dad, or a tito, a tita, who thinks that you are the one spreading fake news or fake information? Ang naging sagot ko nun, sabi ko, siguro we could start by going through the back door. Kasi pag nag-usap tayo, whether in person or in social media, worse if on social media kasi hindi natin nakikita yung reaction ng kausap natin, 'di ba nagkakaroon nangyayari nagkakakalkalan ng mga issues, 'di ba? For instance, pinag-usapan, nag-share siya let's say ng fake information about a candidate that you support. Bigla mo siyang sabihin, bobo ka eh. 'Di ba nangutang ka pa sa akin before? Oh, tapos nagkakasumbatan. That's what's happening when you talk about families, no? So it gets worse. Ngayon, mas maganda kung pinag-uusapan niyo yung mga issues in person. Kasi for all you know, baka the way that relative commented on a post on social media, di ba minsan lalo yung matatanda, hindi mo rin mag-punctuation, tapos naka-all caps, hindi mo nakikita yung mukha nila eh. Baka naman pagkausap mo sila face-to-face, maayos. Now, it's also no guarantee na pagkausap mo sila in person, maayos sila. Pwedeng talagang naniniwala sila sa sineshare nilang fake information. Yung sinasabi kong backdoor approach, I'm actually trying to to try this experiment myself. For instance, meron kang cousin, meron kang tita na mukha talaga naniniwala sa fake information. Naisip ko, pag magkausap, let's not even talk about it first. Siguro, let's reminisce certain moments. Kunwari, nung bata tayo, o tita, di ba, lagi mo akong sinasama sa Tagaytay, tapos may bonding tayo, o yung cousin mo, di ba, imbis na pag-usapan yung utang niya sa'yo, di ba, siguro, nagkakainuman kayo before, o kaya, ikaw nag-introduce sa akin, let's say, sa band na to, di ba? Yung cassette tape pa, for instance, na-discover ko tong album ni Bon Jovi because of because of you. Sorry, medyo luma yung mga examples ko, no? Pero I'm speaking based on experience. Eh. I mean, you go through the back door and talk about things that somehow both of you can relate to. And then siguro later on, pag medyo nag-heal yung certain wounds, medyo nag-dissipate yung issue, siguro doon kayo pwede mag-usap about facts that you think really matter. Not just for you as family members, but also for the public at large. Yun lang. Siguro we can try it.
Yeah, tsaka another element kasi of social media is that because it's public, it raises yung pagka-defensive mo. Kasi yung feeling mo, hala, pag natalo ako dito, makikita ng mga kaibigan ko sa page ko. And so, napapahiya ako. Parang, ay, ano ba naman tong, batang kamag-anak ko na nag-comment sa page ko sa harap, for older people, sa harap ng mga kumpare at kumare ko, kita nilang lahat na kinokontra ako at tinatawag akong gullible ng aking, niece, nephew, son, daughter. Um, when it comes to parents, merong added dimension pa of, well, yung hierarchy
Yeah.
of how we relate to our parents. It's hard in the Philippines to navigate that sometimes, especially for some families kung saan basta ako magulang, ako masusunod. How do you know, what are the things you should avoid in talking to your parents para hindi mo ma-trigger yung ganong response?
Oo nga, no? Tapos sa paano kung financially dependent yung bata doon sa parents niya. Hindi kita bigyan ng baon ha kasi binabara mo ako in public eh. And sa akin siguro, especially when dealing with parents, you have to remain respectful. Kasi yun naman ang lesson, di ba? You have to understand na when people believe in something, especially of the political or partisan kind, they tend to gain ownership of that information. For instance, yung mga kandidato, di ba? Bakit ba alam natin bobo yung kandidato pero certain people actually defend them, even perhaps willing to defend them to death. Bakit? Kasi nandun yung ownership eh. Ang example ko nga lagi dyan, pag bumili ka ng t-shirt tapos sinabi ng barkada mo, pangit naman ang t-shirt mo, hindi bagay sa'yo. Di ba? Very offensive. Although tanggap mo na, oo nga, hindi bagay, pero hindi ko aaminin. Kasi magmumukha kang tanga, di ba? Na nagkamali ka sa choice mo. And we're just talking about a shirt. What if it's about a choice for a political candidate? Bobo ka kasi siya yung pinili mo, di ba? Mas masakit. Kumbaga yung buong katauhan mo tinatamaan eh. Now, pag parents, I think that the basic lessons, we have to be respectful all the time, no? Parang we try to correct them, but not in a condescending way. Siguro there's a way to actually explain it to them. Fortunately sa akin, kasi my dad passed away in 2018, tapos yung mom ko naman, hindi naman siya yung tipong, hindi, dapat ito paniwalaan mo. Hindi siya ganun eh. Nag-uusap kami. Although we have certain differences sa ibang political issues. I remember before we had this long drive, pinag-uusapan niya yung, hindi siya pro Marcos eh, pero ano rin siya, yung parang sinasabi niya, parang mas maganda pa nga nung panahon na yun eh. Parang ganon. Kasi we have to accept the fact na there's a certain segment of our population who actually enjoyed certain benefits of the martial law period. 'Di ba? There were certain segments eh. Of course, pag sa kabuuan, alam mo namang ano, it was really a bad regime. So I think she was talking about that specific good period. Nag-uusap kami, kunwari, yung epekto ng inflation over the years, lahat-lahat. Eventually, sabi ko sa kanya, na-convince ko siya during that long drive. And maganda yung discussion namin. Tapos in the end, sabi niya sa akin, ayoko na nga, hindi mo na ako butante. Sabi ko, ma, ang haba ng paliwanagan natin, hindi ko pa rin nakaregister. Pero that was a light moment between us. Pero ang sa akin kasi pag parents, we have to be we have to remain respectful. At saka, let's not claim na pag tayo yung sa tingin natin may ownership ng facts, na parang tayo lang talaga yung tama. Baka naman kasi yung facts natin tama man, pero yung konteksto hindi rin naman ganun katama. It happens, di ba? At saka minsan kasi pag very condescending approach natin in terms of quote correcting people, especially those who matter to us, talagang that would lead to strained relations.
Na parang the condescension sometimes, no? Um, I know, and at least in my family, 'di ba? Na sometimes yung mga 'di ba may mga fact check, 'di ba? Fact check. I have relatives who are very aggressive with the fact check. Now they're gonna share a fact check graphic and then it's gonna be like, oh, kita nyo, mga nagpapaniwala pa dyan, di talaga nag-iisip, na fact check na nga. And then, all the more, na yung the people that you're trying to inform, lalong turn off. Lalong, kumbaga, ay nako, ayoko na nga, itong mga fact checker na to, galit na lang palagi. Tapos, lumalala yung pagka-polarized. So,
Totoo
I don't
yan.
know. I feel like, I don't
Hindi,
know, man. I
naisip ko
feel
sa
like
ganyan.
fact checks are not enough.
Totoo yan, I totally agree. Kasi nga we have to distinguish between facts and how people feel about the facts. Kasi di kunwari, yung sa example mo, magpo-post sila siguro ng infographics coming from a very reputable source, well research. Okay, so ito yung facts. Pero the way you shove that down the throat of the people you wanted to correct or to enlighten, that was very offensive. So nangyari, there was a difference between the facts that you shared to them and the way they felt about how you shared the facts. Tapos may added layer yan, di ba? Feeling about the facts, or number two, some people know that what they shared are not correct. Pero sinasabi nila, okay, alam namin, magnanakaw nga itong kandidato na to. Pero gusto pa rin namin sila. Di ba? I mean, that's another layer, which is even more problematic. Kasi hindi na natin pinag-uusapan dito kung facts o hindi. Di ba yung baseline information that should actually govern our discussions. Iba, they know that what they believe in is not true, pero gusto nilang paniwalaan. So that I think that's the more challenging part.
The last time that we saw each other, we were talking about the research of our colleague Jonathan Ong and about rebuilding our parallel public spheres. The idea being, for our listeners who might not be familiar, is that sa pagkalala ng disinformation ngayon, parang meron na tayong mga sari-sariling mundo at hindi tayo nagkakarinigan. So kung gusto natin magkaintindihan, kailangan muna natin magkarinigan and to create space for us to dialogue. Even when we disagree, we don't see each other as like, oh, evil enemy, bobo, tanga. But rather, okay, tao din yan. Um, Tao din yan, may pinanggagalingan yan, paano tayo mag-uusap, paano tayo magre-rebuild. And so, para sa'yo ba, like, beyond just facts, how important for you is that rebuilding of these relationships and the space for us to have conversations?
Alam mo, super important, and actually there are no easy answers to that, no? So ako, in my case, I've been trying certain initiatives toward that. Ang term na ginagamit kasi nila, parallel public spheres. Ako, I prefer to use the term information bubbles. Sometimes ang ginagamit ko dyan, ano, parang information tribalism. Kasi parang we're back to the old tribal situation wherein we think in terms of tribes, no? Ako, yung tribo ko, ito pinaniniwalaan namin, ito sa inyo. Diba, in the olden days, how do you establish connections among tribes? Diba, you look for commonalities, you look for compromises, etc. etc. Now, in this case, masyadong heightened yung emotions. No? And sa akin, I would prefer na, siguro, to try to rebuild relationships, for instance, to be able to reach to the other information tribes. Hindi pwedeng pumasok tayo frontally eh. Diba? Tulad ng sinasabi ko na example in terms of dealing with relatives or parents. We can perhaps use the backdoor approach. Pero ako, I'm also realistic. Kasi minsan may mga tao talagang hindi mo na mapapaliwanagan eh. For instance, alam mo talagang kalus na yung kanilang belief when it comes to a certain fact, quote-unquote, or information. Hindi mo sila mababago, hindi mo na masisway, hindi mo na naman change, no? And I think we should have a certain layering or nuancing in terms of dealing with those people. Eto siguro, to segment na to, hindi mo na mababago yan kahit balibaliktarin mo yung mundo. Pero is there siguro a more moderate portion of a certain information tribe that might be willing to listen to you? Perhaps willing to listen to reason, even without arguing with each other. Ako, I would prefer to focus on that. Kasi for instance, yung mga trolls sa program ko, pinagkakatuwaan ko eh. Kasi alam ko yung mga trolls, pera-pera yung pinag-uusapan dyan eh. Pero if I think may mga nagpo-post for instance ng comments na I don't agree with, pero maayos yung pagkaka-argue nila, I engage with them really. Nagpapaliwanagan kami mas gaano kahaba. Pero yung trolls, give up eh. Give up ako sa mga yan eh. At ang isang layering din, no? Pag tinignan mo minsan yung mga nagko-comment, nagagalit, di ba? Pag tinitingnan ko yung profile, matatanda. Yung mga siguro 60s up. Tapos pag pinuntahan ko yung Facebook page nila, kaya po pala ito yung paniniwalaan nyo. Kasi minsan may nagpo-post sa akin, sabihin, oy bobo, tanga, bata ka pa lang. Dami-dami mo sinasabi. Di ba minsan, very ageist yung mga matanda eh. Sila ageist eh. So, nilalagay ka sa lugar mo eh, because of age. Pag tinignan ko yung post nila, yung Facebook page, ito yung mga common denominators eh. Minsan may mga post ng Diyos, di ba? Bible quotes. Tapos, number two, makikita mo yung sineshare nila information coming from hyper-partisan quote-unquote news organization. So that explains. Ako ginagawa ko, hindi ko binabara yung mga yon. Because I understand that they're more of victims, not perpetrators in this entire enterprise.
Oo nga, no? Iba yon. Iba yung lola na maybe fell down the rabbit hole of an algorithm they didn't know about. They don't even know that the algorithm exists. That's so different from someone intentionally, maliciously propagating this. Um, for you, is there ever, I know you have so many of these hard conversations and good on you for having them. When do you know when to walk away from a conversation?
Gandang tanong yan, no? Pero ako in the first place, I don't even walk into a conversation na alam ko, hindi ko na na walang kumbaga hopeless conversations, no? Ito example, no? Ito to. A lot of people are basically very passionate about this issue. Should we speak with people who have been actually spreading disinformation? Kunwari yung mga, not just adherents talagang enablers ng mga politicians na talaga nagkakalat ng kung ano-ano mga maling information. Di ba? Yung mga fanatics. Sinasabi ng iba, sige kausapin natin because you need to understand them. Ako, agree ako sa ganun. Pero, when you speak with people like this, with this particular segment, you have to make sure that you're not giving them inadvertently a platform to amplify their lies. Kasi ganun yung nangyayari. Kausapin ko kunwari, isang troll, na isang fanatic, na ang history niya talagang nagkakalat viciously na kung ano-ano mga kasinungalingan. Pag kinausap ko, dapat I have to be ready in terms of calling out those lies, putting things in proper perspective, and to be basically not controlled by that person during the conversation. Kasi sa mga monitor ko before, then and now, yung mga nagbibigay ng platform sa kanila, nangyayari sila yung nakokontrol nung kinausap nila, people who they wanted to reach out to begin with. Honest yung intention ng mga nag-interview, pero sila yung parang nagamit at the end of that interview. Ako, I would be very, very cautious regarding that. Kung gusto mong kausapin yung ganun, you have to be ready. Doon talaga you have to argue and hope that they would be
Mm,
able to argue with reason, not with
mm.
fallacies. In terms of
Yeah.
conversations, when to walk away, ang sa akin, pag talagang reasonable, nakikipag-usap ko whether in person or on social media, nakikipag-usap ako sa kanila. Pero minsan, makikita mo, meron silang talking points kahit anong paliwanag gawin mo. Na-try ko yan before yung pinag-usapan nila, may mga nambabash sa akin. Sabi na may ill-gotten wealth yung mga Marcos, wala namang napatunayan. So before I posted yung link dun sa 2003 Supreme Court decision kung saan nakalagay yung ill-gotten wealth. Tapos wala pa rin silang pakialam, invento lang yan. Sabi ko mukhang tinatamad magbasa. Ginawa ko, in-screenshot ko na yung relevant portion. Yung mismong portion kung saan yung Supreme Court decision niya nagsabi, ill-gotten yung more than $650 million in Swiss bank deposits by the Marcoses. Kasi ang legal income ng mag-asawa, a little over 300,000 from 1965 to until the time they were ousted. So the rest, outside of beyond a little over 300,000 pesos, ill-gotten. Sabi ko, hindi ko nagsabi yan. Sabi ng Supreme Court. At ang ponente, yung naging Chief Justice eventually, si Renato Corona. So, surprise, surprise. Ganun ba rin? Wala kaming pakialam dyan. Di ba? Every conversation, pag gumagalaw yung goalpost So, mahirap makipaghabulan dun sa naggagalaw ng goalpost. So, I guess that's a very clear indication that you have to give up. You have to walk away.
What if naman, they're not moving the goalposts, pero alam mo naman minsan yung mga magulang natin parang, "Pagod na ako, ayoko ng pag-usapan 'yan." Parang meron silang threshold na kumbaga if you're trying to convince them on a sliding scale, "I wanna get you from point A to point B." Baka today hanggang dito lang kaya nating itawid. And then tomorrow or the next time we have an opportunity, try again. Like it's gonna come in stages. How do you know when it's like, I have done my part for the day? I don't need to keep pushing because if I keep pushing, I might undo the progress that I've made because it might turn adversarial.
Magandang point yan, no? Parang meron kang allotted na siguro effort for in a day, no? Pero ang inisip ko naman sa ganyan, some conversations are better without words. For instance, talagang hindi naman kayo nagkakasundo. Instead of saying, let's agree to disagree, which is a cop-out for me, yakapin mo na lang siguro muna yung mami mo. Okay, yakapin ka ng mami mo. 'Di ba? Parang makain na lang muna tayo. 'Di ba? Sometimes, I can understand, especially in the case of children, yung generation natin, natin ako si Jan. Parang napaka-cerebral ng approach natin, especially sa issue ng fake information. Para bang, you have to win an argument. We have to go through a process that would change them. And sa akin, tama ba yung question to begin with? Am I engaging with my mom, with my dad to change their perspective, to enlighten them? Kasi pag inisip mo, baka naman tayo rin kailangan ng enlightening when it comes to how to deal with this information within the family. Na baka naman yung frontal approach na yan, that's not the way to do it. Diba? Sometimes, baka napakainit ang usapan. Pero pag inakap mo yung nanay mo, tapos na okay, ang kaaway mong cousin, pag nagkita kayo, tamo, hindi man pala tayo magkaaway in person Kumbaga, nare-discover natin yung humanity between us. Bakit tayo naiwan, bakit tayo na-strain, bakit tayo nasisira yung relationships natin because of these politicians na for all you know, hindi naman sila affected, pero tayo nag-aaway. Ngayon, syempre, sabihin ng iba dyan sa nilalatag ko, no? Well, ayoko magkaroon ng kamag-anak na naniniwala sa magnanakaw. I mean, even that term needs nuancing, no? Kasi for instance, yung mga bumoto rito kay Marcos, diba, ang common comment dyan ng mga hindi bumoto, sabihan, kaibigan kita, hindi na kita kaibigan kasi hindi ako naniniwala sa kaibigan na sumusuporta sa magnanakaw. Di ba dapat inuwansing din yung yung term na yon? Naniwala ba siya kay Bongbong dahil naniniwala siya sa pagnanakaw? Not necessarily, di ba? Pwede binoto niya si Bongbong because he feels na kahit alam kong may ill-gotten wealth issues ng family nito, sa tingin ko, siya yung pinaka-okay na maging presidente ngayon. Baka yun ang argument nila. Or for some reason, baka tingin ko makakatulong, di ba? And you cannot take away that belief from them. But it doesn't necessarily mean na binoto nila isang kandidato dahil they're for stealing, di ba? Sa akin, dapat may ganun nuancing din. Kasi nasisira tayo because of generalizations eh.
I really resonated with what you said about ayoko ng kaibigan naniniwala sa magnanakaw and the importance of nuance. Ako, I want to share something very personal. Noong 2016, nung pasikat pa lang si Duterte, and it was the first time my family had ever heard of Duterte. There was a period leading up to the 2016 elections where my dad wanted to vote for Duterte. And for like 2 months, nagsisigawan kami. I would just be like, how? How can you want someone who talks about killing people? How can you, like, you want people to die? Ganon. That's how I would talk to him. And then, sigawan kami sa bahay. And then he'd be like, kasi yung NPA. And I'm like, gawa-gawa lang yan. And then, nag-aaway lang kami sa bahay. For 2 months. As in, umaabot sa only child ako. And then yung nanay ko talagang pumapagitan na parang, tama na, gusto ko na lang kumain. And I really thought it wouldn't ever be resolved. I really thought, like, I don't know who my dad is. I don't know how we're ever gonna see eye to eye. And until one day, this was after merong hinalikan si Duterte na babae. Tapos he made comments about yung mayor dapat yung mauna. And he was making all of these like comments about women. I was with my dad and then nag-emotional breakdown na lang ako. And then umiyak lang ako na parang bilang babae, ang sakit-sakit. Ang sakit-sakit isipin na ito yung gusto mo. And then, umiyak lang ako ng umiyak. Tapos, naging vulnerable lang ako. And then, parang tahimik lang yung daddy ko. Tapos, that evening, bago ako matulog, lumapit siya sa akin. Tapos, hinag niya ako bago matulog. Tapos, sabi niya, di ko na siya iboboto, anak. And from then on, that became the door opening. And eventually, my dad parang developed an understanding of human rights. He has, he became against the drug war. He became, against so many of the policies na nakita ko yung growth. Na this was a person who had fallen down an algorithm. But maybe what we need is that moment of vulnerability. And then it can spark something in them. And so,
Ganda
ayun,
yan
yun lang. Like,
Maganda
yun lang.
yan. Tsaka siguro ang ano ko rin
Yeah.
dyan, ang ganda ng experience mo. Dapat pala ikaw na lang in-interview ko, no? Invite nga kita minsan. Maganda yung experience mo na yan, seryoso. Naisip ko lang minsan, kasi
Thanks.
isa rin sa mga reason to bakit nag-aaway yung maraming tao, di ba? Para bang we want to prove to the other person that we are right and they are wrong. Na minsan, kunwari, naging nag-simmer, nag-tone down na sila, di ba? Tapos, okay, I admit, mali. Minsan naman yung iba nag-gloat. 'Di ba? Kita mo na, bobo kasi yung choice niya. 'Di ba nakikita natin sa mga family gatherings, may mga ganyang events, 'di ba? Kunwari, binoto nila si Duterte 2016. And then by the midterm, they realize, nagbago na isip ko, no? Kumbaga talagang mali pala yung choice ko. Minsan naman, nag-gloat yung mga kausap nilang relatives. Kita mo na, bobo kasi kayo eh. Supported niyo yung magnanakaw eh. Yun naman mali eh. Kasi nga, may mga tao rin kasi na okay, nagkamali, pero wag na natin idiin sa kanila. Although, kahit na yung mga choices nila, apektado tayong lahat. Pero ganun talaga eh. And we have to understand, I assume your dad also had these reasons, no? Hindi lang lahat yun driven by fake news. na siguro na-consume niya because of algorithms. Meron siyang deeply rooted reason for supporting someone like that. And I think that is at the core of that is frustration. Sino ba naman yung ayaw na mas-solve yung problema sa addiction, maging safe yung streets natin. And when someone says, gagawin ko yan in 3 to 6 months, at very convincing, parang maisip mo, nga no, baka kaya niya in 3 to 6 months. Kailangan natin ng matinding pagpapaliwanag sa maraming Pilipino on how government processes work, no? Kailangan ipaliwanag natin sa kanila lahat 'yan. And it will really take a long, long, long time.
Yeah. Pero para umabot tayo doon, kailangan magkaroon tayo ng kailangan bumalik sa atin yung kakayanan natin na magpaliwanag at kakayanan natin makinig din sa ibang tao. Um, right now, yung sinabi mo na, ayan, ikaw kasi binoto mo yan. Ngayon, nakikita ko yan sa bigas. Di ba yung usapan ngayon, bigas? Pagbukas ko ng Twitter, it's just people saying, ayan, kumain kayo ng mahal na bigas, ginusto nyo yan. It's like, wait lang. Di ba? Parang, hindi talaga makikinig ang mga tao kung palagi na lang tayong galit. Ayun. And then, I don't know, ako, ang naniniwala ako na everyone is capable of change. Maybe not some people, like you said, yung segment, yung pag too far gone, pag pinili na talaga nila yan. Pero yung mga naging biktima, I feel like there's always gonna be hope for change.
Agree. Mukhang
And
convincing pag ikaw
yeah.
Sid siya. Very, very calm yung voice mo eh. Ako hindi ako convincing eh. Matapang yung dating ko eh. Isa very calming eh. No? Pag pinaliwanag mo siguro, mas makikinig sa'yo.
Hindi, ano lang, nisip ko lang palagi yung tatay ko. Yun lang. Kasi, it's so interesting for me na in the lead up to the 26 elections, this was really someone who was like, tignan mo ang linis ng Davao. Tignan mo yung Davao, oh, safest city daw siya. According to ganyan, ayaw mo ba ng ganyan sa Maynila? And then, fast forward throughout the thing, na yan, naging anti-drug war yan, critical of the positions regarding China, about West Philippine Sea. Parang, I was like, wow, complete about face. And I don't think we would have gotten there if I had just kept getting mad at him and fighting and being like, dad naman, journalist ako, nakakahiya, sasabihin ng mga katrabaho ko na yung kamag-anak ko, ganito, yung ganyan. It wouldn't have worked. But maybe if you get to that point where you're just like, tao sa tao, na parang, ayaw ka na.
Actually, yan ang
Sakit.
magandang solution eh. Mukhang yan ang
Ganon.
solution eh, honestly. No? Yung, di ba, people are emotionally attached to people they believe in. And they also tend to be emotionally attached to fake information. At pag inatake mo at the cerebral level, talaga ma-offend sila. Baka iba kaya ng as you have proven with your dad, no? We also make use of that emotional level to heal relationships and wounds, no? Instead of debating about facts and issues. Maganda yan interviewin kita minsan with your
Ay,
dad.
sure. Alam mo, yung have you ever been sent? I've been in family chat groups kasi, where the conversation devolves into well-meaning young people bombarding the old people with URLs, links. Basahin mo to. PCIJ, CMFR, tapos ba. And then, it's so many links. And I know it's all correct. But if you're an old person, it's not gonna work.
Totoo yan. Mahirap i-digest, diba? Mag-click pa ng URL, diba?
Papaintindihan mo pa ng investigative reporting yung senior citizen. Parang, anong laban ng 20-page investigative report kumpara sa quote card na shinare ng pare nila. Parang in that scenario, you need to speak their language. You need to like meet them where they are, or sa sports ang tawag nila, play the ball where it lands, 'di ba? kung ano yung, kung nasan yung bola, 'di ba? Di ka naman pwede hindi, ito yung play na gusto ko. Pero wala doon yung bola.
Totoo yan, totoo yan.
Yun. Ayun. As you continue your advocacy with facts first, do you have any like success stories of changing people's minds that you would like to share with us?
Hmm. Hindi ko alam exactly kasi wala akong measure yung changing mindsets, no? Ang napansin ko lang dito, lumalaki yung lumalaki yung audience, and I think ano, parang attractive sa kanila idea na parang ang idea ko kasi dito parang I'm trying to build a community of people who still care about the facts. And siguro they they like the approach na medyo in your face minsan, 'di ba? Yung baka yun ang gusto nila eh. And yun ang gauge na na ginagamit ko na nag-grow yung subscriber base, yung audience. And I'm happy na maraming naniniwala dun sa idea na dapat labanan natin 'tong mga siraulo na 'to na nagpapakalat ng fake information. And actually, welcome dun sa dun sa kunwari sa live episodes ko everyday. Nandun yung may mga dedicated trolls diyan eh. Yung iba rin trolls talaga, iba rin naman talaga mga adherents lang. And I also engage with them. Kinakausap ko sila sa syempre inaasar-asar ko na lang. And ang maganda, yung ibang audience na, sila na mismo yung parang nagko-correct or nagkukuyog. Yun nga lang, it's not effective in the long term kasi patanggal mo man siya ron sa convo, dun sa discussion na yan, di ba? Lilipat lang yan sa iba eh. So, ang idea rito, dapat concerted effort eh. And it's not just about fact-checking. Sa totoo lang eh. Kasi you mentioned yung fact-checking kanina eh, miski buhusan natin ng URLs yan or even code cards, they won't even bother to check those if they think the source is polluted. No? Kunwari sinabi, o galing yan dito sa oh, ABS, Rappler, Philstar, puro naman kayo bayaran eh, puro naman kayo komunista eh, 'di ba? Ganun. They won't even bother to check the information. So, mas maganda yung sinabi mo kanina. Yung interpersonal. Oo, sa totoo lang, mas maganda yun.
Gusto ko rin yung sinabi mo, yung i-hug mo yung magulang mo. So, baka yun. Yun lang talaga, no?
Oo nga eh.
Be
Kasi
respectful with the
yun eh, parents
facts.
yan eh.
But facts are not enough. Oo, magulang mo yan. Yan yung nagpalaki sa'yo. Inano ka nila.
Parang ganito yan. Nung
Pina-
bata tayo, we also
pinalitan nila diaper mo.
correct and even more. Kung napoop ka sa school, baka sila pa nagpunas, di ba?
Oo.
Sorry sa graphic example, ah. At saka imagine mo, nung bata tayo, di ba, we also embrace certain beliefs na alam ng parents natin na mali. Pero how did they approach us? Sinabihan ba tayo na, bobo ka naman anak eh, mali yung pinaniniwalaan mo eh. Bakit ngayon na sila siguro yung merong pinaniniwalaan and driven by algorithms, tayo naman yung magsasabi na, mami, bobo ka eh. May mali, di ba? There's something wrong somewhere. So, especially when it comes to parents, family, we really have to be very, very patient. Yun.
Yeah, oo. I love that. Oo. Na minsan anak din yung magpapalaki sa magulang at a certain point in life. And baka nandun na tayo sa stage na yun. Na our parents are just human. They are not, they won't know everything. They can't do everything. And as much as they helped us when we weren't able to do anything, maybe it's also on us to try and help them this time.
100% I fully agree. Ilang pag-open ng Facebook page, di ba? Nagagawa ba ng parents yan on their own? Some could do it, pero I think most of them would need the guidance of their apos, of their children, di ba? O, tapos bigla may nag-tag
Mm-mm.
sa'yo. Minsan hindi alam ng mga parents na public pala yung sinagot ko. Akala ko DM, di ba? Yung mga ganon. Tapos hindi nila alam
Oo.
yung nuance minsan na pag all caps, ang dating nung galit. O, Yung mommy
Oo.
ko, hindi pa rin siya nahihirapan kasi matanda na eh. Nahihirapan siya mag-punctuation. Kaya pa nagme-message kami, mukha siyang galit. Walang punctuation minsan. At para maraming all caps to. Minsan talagang uunawain natin eh. Ganun talaga eh.
Totoo. Like, magulang ko nga, hindi sila marunong mag-GCash. Ako yung taga-GCash para sa kanila. Tapos bibigyan nila ako ng cash. Ganon. Ganon yung
Mm.
sistema. Hindi nila alam
Pwede ka
yung
mag-charge ah.
online banking. O nga, dapat meron akong transaction fee, no? Tapos, ayun, di ba? Mobile banking, bago sa kanila. Um, yung online booking ng mga flights, sobrang nakaka-stress para sa kanila kasi iba yung pagtingin nila sa websites versus sa atin. Like for them, it's like, oh my gosh, saan ako titingin? I don't know where anything is, right? And I know that news, like the topic of disinformation is so volatile. But if we boil it down to that again, na parang, yo, your parents are confused about things. This is new. Social media is new to them. Like you gotta find that patience because one day tayo naman yung matanda.
Correct, totoo yan. Tsaka diba nung
We
lumalaki
can
tayo, sila
only hope.
nagtuturo sa atin. Sila yung nag-guide mo. O anak, wag dyan ha. O anak, ganito yung
Mm.
pag-operate ng ganyan, di ba? This
Oo.
time,
Oh, anak, huwag mong anuhin yan. Huwag mong kainin yan, bad
na-flip
yan.
na yung script eh. You have to do it.
Mm-mm.
Pero
Signs
maganda
of
sa kanila,
aging.
syempre, yung wisdom nasa kanila pa rin eh. Once they understand the
Yeah.
medium, the wisdom will always be there. Di ba?
Mm.
Huwag ka nakikipagmurahan in public, di ba yung sa ganyan, yung sa social media. Common naman yun.
Yeah. Pabayaan mo na lang. Ganyan. Sometimes, my mom is so Facebook illiterate. It's funny. Like she hasn't changed her profile picture in 7 years. She doesn't look like her profile picture anymore. And when I ask her, why aren't you changing it? She's like, I don't know how to change it, right? And she has no idea about so much. Like nag-aaway na yung buong pamilya. Yung mga extended family, nag-aaway na sa Facebook. My mom is completely like, ah, hindi ko naman naiintindihan bakit pa kailangan i-post. That's
Tama.
like my mom's.
Which is
And
correct, di ba?
there's wisdom in that. There's wisdom.
Oo. Tama. Di ba? Bakit pa kailangan i-post? Yan ang problema rin minsan sa sa social media. Para bang everyone is his or her own celebrity. Parang ganun. Parang feeling mo pag may naisip ko, you need to post it. 'Di ba? Para bang feeling mo kailangan may mag-comment. And I think that's a loser mentality, 'di ba? Kaya nga minsan ibang tao nalulungkot eh. Nag-post ako. Naku, 5 minutes na wala pa nagla-like. Sige, miski angry, tatanggapin ko na. Basta lang alam kong nabasa or people cared one way or another. Yan, ang ganda na yan. Yan, that's a manifestation of wisdom. Bakit pa kailangan i-post, 'di ba? Yung laundry, yung why do we need to wash our dirty linen in public? Yan ang magandang advice yan from your mom.
Thank you. Let's go, mom. Wisdom of a 63-year-old, you know. I think that's the bottom line for everything we discussed today. It's how do you inform your parents about fake news? Well, have the facts but present them. How do you help your parents fight disinformation? Well, have the facts but present it respectfully. Appeal to shared humanity. Reach them on an emotional level. And like you said, yakapin mo sila.
Sana makatulong.
Mm-mm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What an inspiring start to my day. I really enjoyed this conversation with you, Christian. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you rin, Sija. This is, I think, the first of its kind for me. Kasi usually mga hardcore topics yung pinag-uusapan ko, pero this one, cathartic, enlightening to me. Maganda siya. I enjoyed this. Thank you for inviting me dito sa Puma Podcast.
Yay! Super salamat.